computer.
Mute all of us too.
All right. Good morning. Good afternoon in your own cities. So this is Saturday Zoom. Every morning at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Saturday, we have this Zoom. This is, it's not really opportunity meeting, but it's more of a training, getting together as a team, going over stuff and things like that. And it is a really momentous time in our journey. If you are in network marketing and if you are interested in being successful in network marketing, this is it. I really do believe that. And let me tell you why. So I'm not really a networker like Chuck. I'm more of a business guy. But I've done this a couple of times, and this is my third time last 25 years. So, and although I am a total ignorant in network marketing, I learned a little bit, and I was able to be successful twice. So my first experience was with Nu Skin back in 1995. So I joined Nu Skin in 1995 because one of my golf buddy asked me to introduce me to the business. And at that time, I had a pretty sizable business in Seattle, but I was struggling a little bit. So I was looking for something. But I wasn't looking for network marketing opportunity because I thought that was kind of, I really didn't like that type of business. But this guy told me that, hey, listen, this guy named by Nathan Ricks is huge in network marketing. He was with Nu Skin. Why didn't you go see him and see what he's up to? I mean, don't even worry about network marketing part. It's a business. So, okay. So he and I flew up to Utah and met with this guy. And he's a young guy like I was, like mid-30s. And he told me about this story about this Japanese guy. And he told me that, you know what, a year ago, this guy from Japan showed up at my house just like you did. And he's making more money than I do. And he showed me his check. At the time, it's 95. There's no internet, nothing. So they were actually giving you checks, right? And the check was $250,000 a month, every month. So I said, "Oh my God, this is a lot of money." I mean, I was thinking big business. So $250,000, actual the check wasn't big, but if you can net that without any risk, to me it was like huge. No accounts receivable, no inventory, no customers to worry about. Holy cow! I mean, your life is set. So I said, "Wow, what did this guy do?" And he said, "You know what? He worked about a year before Japan opened, and he went back and forth to Japan, and he's starting to bring people here to Utah, and now he makes more money than I do." That's what he said. I said, "Wow." So this is a real business. So that's when I first entered the world of network marketing. But I told Nathan, listen, Nathan, I got a problem. I can't go back and forth to Korea because I don't know anybody in Korea. I came here when I was really young, and he said, you know what he said? Don't worry about it. Go back to Seattle, where I used to live, and find 5 people who are, who have connection to Korea. Well, there are about 50,000 Koreans at the time living in Seattle. I knew a lot of Korean Americans. So, wow, that I can do. So, and then go help them find 5 people. And then to go help them find their 5 people, and so on and so forth. They said, wow, that sounds really good. I mean, when you hear this, go 5, 10, 25, 125, people say, oh yeah, it only works in theory. But at that time, it really hit me. It really hit me like wow, this really may actually work. That's what I thought. So I said, okay, I'm going to go find 5 people and help them find 5 people and do that. So I went back to Seattle, and I told everybody, you know what, I'm going to make $1 million like next year. I'm really going to make $1 million next year. And a lot of people thought I was crazy. I mean, not, including my ex-wife. I mean, everybody thought I was crazy. Guy is out of his mind. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I got 5 people. I helped them get their 5 people. And I helped them get their 5 people. So in about 6 or 7 months before the Korea opened, I had about a few hundred good people lined up to open Korea. And when you open Korea, I had like a couple thousand people signed up. So that's in 6 months. I started August of 95, and I got my first check on September 95. And then by March, when Korea opened 96, February of 96, March check was $34,000. And April check was 69,000. And then May was 96,000. And June was, you've seen this, $135,000 a month. So at that year, I didn't make $1 million. I made $997,000 something dollars, so very close to million, about $3,000 short of $1 million. So I posted my checks. Every time I got a check, I post my checks in my friend's office so people can see it. And they couldn't believe the amount of money I was making, you know? So looking at that, I said, you know, and then it was going great. But then the Korea as a whole country went bankrupt. So the business ended very quickly. All right. So my 1997, my income down to like 400,000 and I stopped.
It was down to 400,000.
400,000, yeah. But, you know, it's going down very quickly. So I stopped at late 97, where my income went down to like 2,000 a month. I said, well, I can't live with 2,000 a month, so I got to find something else. So I left. But I made a lot of money. All right. So, and I didn't go back into network marketing because I was tired. All these people that work with me, basically, they lost money. New Skin is where everybody has to. If you're an executive, if you're in business, you have to maintain $3,000 a month volume. Otherwise, you're out. All these people you sponsor under you will go roll up to your sponsor, and you'll be out and go back to the bottom. So everybody had to really go out and get that $2,000 or $3,000 a month deal. So if they weren't selling 2,000 or 3,000, they had to go buy some out of their credit card. So everybody had like $1 million, and not $1 million, but everybody had, you know, sizable inventory. I had huge inventory. I was Mr. Shampoo, man, because I just, you know, stuff. If I needed more money, I just buy shampoo and just give it to all the people I meet, you know. So, but I was making $1 million here. Other people were. So everybody was broke and dead. Oh my God! I said, this is not. I'm successful, but this is not a good business for me. So I left. Okay, and then about 20 years later, I got back because also my business was doing great. And then 2008 came, and I was struggling, and I ran out of option. I mean, if you've done business for a couple of times, you know, manage successfully, and you fail, you run out of option because your credit's shot. You personally guarantee everything, right? I mean, some of you are in business, you realize that, right? So I don't have any money. I don't have any resources. So I had to look for something else. And then my golf buddy from my country club, he showed me another company, Snarium. They're going to Korea. And at the time, I thought about it for about 6 months and said, well, you know what? I have no options. Maybe this is the only thing I can do. So I did it again. And I did the same thing. I don't know anybody in Korea. I've done network marketing in Korea for 20 years ago, but I have no contacts. I mean, I don't know anybody that I used to be in business with. And first of all, they're not happy with me because they got screwed or they weren't making any money. So I had to start new. So, okay, go back to 5 Korean guys and, you know, have them get 5 Korean guys and so on and so forth. And I was able to be successful again. When the Korea opened about a year and a half later, I had brought in about 20,000 people ready to make $1 million here again. But you know what? Company couldn't deliver. I mean, I think we had about over $2 million in volume first month. Everybody got their credit cards and bought $2 million worth of product, and only like 10 people got product. Rest of them didn't get product for about 60 days. Or probably about 75 days. So, you know, I mean, I spent the next 6 months apologizing to the company. And, you know, obviously when you're starting to apologize to the company, how they screwed up, your business is not going to, you know, go. So I stopped there again. So that's my 2 experiences. And the reason why, and this is the key, I was successful and super successful was not because I'm smarter than other people, not because I work harder than other people. It's because I was able to take advantage of the huge momentum, which is Korea. Okay, and I'm assuming that you are all here is because of that fact. Okay, in order to be successful in this industry, and you know a lot of people who are in network marketing, right? A lot of your friends have asked to join. A lot of your acquaintances have asked to join. I know that. Okay, but do you know anybody who are really super successful? Not that many. You know why? Because not because they're stupid, not because they don't work hard, not because they're lazy. It's because they fail to recognize the most important thing in any business. Okay, that is to get on the right wave. So this is my wave. The Korea. Well, let's not even talk about Korea. Let's talk about Asia. Okay, Korea, Japan, and China. Those three countries are responsible for 60% of the entire network marketing direct selling business. So let me give you an example. Amway, okay, 2017, Amway did $86 billion, okay? No, $8.6 billion, excuse me, 8.6. Out of $8.6 billion, $1 billion came from Korea, $1 billion came from Japan, and $4 billion from China. So over 60% of the Amway's entire revenue came from those three countries. And Amway is in about 125 countries plus. Okay, out of 125 countries, 3 countries are responsible for those 60% of the revenue. If you include US, it's probably more like a 70 or 80% of their entire revenue comes from US, Korea, Japan, and China. Let's talk about Newskin, my old company. Newskin did $2.2 billion 2017. Out of $2.2 billion, $500 million came from Korea, and $500 million came from Japan, and about $700 million came from China. 77% of the entire Newskin business came from those 3 countries. And if you add US, it's more like 85%. And Amway is in 54 different countries. So it's just obvious that if you're on top of Korea, Japan, and China, you will have what do you call this? It's just like unfair advantage in this business. And that's why we're here. And Isogenics hasn't gone to Korea. They've been in business for 16 years, but they haven't. Most of the companies who are in top 30s, this is how they grow and become top 30. They do well in United States, do a couple $100 million, and then they jumped to Korea, Japan, and China, and they grew for another $500 million. And that's how they become $1 billion company. Not because they have a basis in the United States, but because they have bases in the Asia. That's how they do it. And in the process of doing it, a lot of companies go out of business because Asia is a very, very hard market. Unless you know them well, the companies just fail like crazy. That's why I wasn't able to sustain my effort in Nerium, where Nerium was like a $200 million, $300 million company, and it grew quickly in the United States. But in order to grow faster, they went to Asia when they were not ready. Okay, so when they were not ready, went to Korea, they got hit. I mean, of course they started doing a huge business from the get-go, but then they weren't able to sustain. Okay, so that's how all these network marketing companies go out of business or they lose momentum, because they go to Asia and they fail. Okay, so let me just give you a simple example. Last 30 years, MLM history in Korea, about 2,000 companies entered in Korea. Okay, 2,000. US, Canada, Europe, whatever. Only 160 companies survived so far. So you do the math. 95% of the companies or more fail in Korea. So there are two the principle that we need to understand. Okay, in order having a opportunity in Korea, and then using that base to go to Japan and China is a huge opportunity. It's an opportunity that no one else has in this industry, okay? But if that opportunity comes from a smaller company, which you will see a lot of the small companies do that, then their opportunity is very, very risky because 95% plus companies fail in Korea, even more, okay? But if that opportunity comes with a company like Isogenics, 16 years old, with $1 billion in sale, then that opportunity is real. That's the key. You know, you know, because I was in business, a lot of people approached me, and I started a company about 10 years ago, about 15 years ago, thinking about starting my own MLM companies too, okay? And because of that experience and my experience in Nu Skin, a lot of people approached me. Hey, you know what? I have a little MLM company. Let's take this to Korea. We do about a couple of $1 million a month, you know, all that stuff. And I'm so glad I didn't take that opportunity because we're just going to fail. I'm going to work really hard for the next 5 years and just fail, because unless you're stable, unless you have enough money to really do business over there, it's not likely you'll survive. So going back to this opportunity deal. So opportunity, in order for you to be successful in an MLM or network marketing, you have to create momentum, and you have to create quickly. If you haven't created now, you have to create it something very quickly, and that's how the fire gets started. Oh, I'm going to take my time and do it next 5 years. It doesn't work, because you might be able to take time, but your people that you bring it in will not be able to survive. Okay, this is all about not you being successful, but it's all about your people becoming a success, which will bring you success, right? So you have to be more, you have to pay attention as to if people you're bringing in will be successful or not. So you have to start a momentum. You have to have a group going quickly, okay? Only way you will be able to do that is if you have a convincing story, okay? I mean, I strongly believe that in order for anybody to be successful, especially in my case, and guarantee success, it for me is the opening of Korea, because it just opens up a huge opportunity. Okay, so having that, and then understanding why Korea is important, understanding why Korea it become a bridge to Japan and China, which will be huge, even more important. Okay, learning Asian business, Asian way to do business with Korea, and then maybe introduce your business to China and Japan, which is 60% of our whole industry, is a huge, right? And then why not the other companies, but Isogenics is the key, because small companies won't make it. You have to be in bed with a big company like Isogenics, top 27 in the world, in order to have this Asian venture really successful and get some sort of fruit. Okay, so you have to understand that. You really have to understand why that is so important, and then use that momentum to create, momentum in your group. I mean, I love this product, but I'm gonna do well. I'm gonna share one. That works too. Okay, that really do work. But if you want, $1 million a year, if you want $100,000 a month, you want even $50,000 a month or $20,000 a month, if you want a life-changing income, and if you can do that quickly, then you really have to use this. You don't even this story. You don't even have to have a single person in Korea. Okay, it's all about your people. Okay, you don't have to know anybody. You're bringing people who know about Korea. So I hope you understand why I'm so excited about Korea, and you understand why I was able to be successful, and my story was convincing enough for Chuck to really go with me. Okay, I hope you do. And and this is what I do to bring success to Isogenics. I don't discriminate whether they're Koreans or Japanese or from Canada or New Zealand. I don't care. I go after people because I really do believe that somebody I know, because United States is so intermingled right now, okay? Somebody I know in Texas who's, let's say a white American guy. Let's say I know Farmer John in Michigan. Farmer John will know somebody in Kansas who's a friend of a Korean guy who owns a grocery store. Then he has a friend in LA who's married to Korean gal who happens to know somebody who has somebody who's in business in Korea about MLM. That's how it works. In New Skin, one group was about 70% of my entire volume, okay? In 1996 when I was successful, okay? I have 12 legs, believe it or not. In order to be Blue Diamond, you have to build 12 legs. We only have to do 2. Wow. But I had to 12, and one leg was 70% volume, okay? That volume came like this. I didn't know any of the guys over there. I knew this guy who wasn't interested in business, but it was, I was consistent enough that he introduced another guy, and he introduced another guy, but none of them were in business. And then he introduced somebody in Korea, and he wasn't interested in business, but he introduced me to this guy that had 70% of my volume. Okay, so if I stopped, I wouldn't get there. So everything about this business is knowing somebody who knows somebody, but you have to be persistent about telling your story. Okay, you just have to be parrot. I mean, you have to say same stories over and over again. I often joke about me being like a broken record. That's what it takes in this business. But you have to be passionate about a story that you really believe in and do this. So how do you do this? I mean, you go back to basic. You write down why you're doing this. Why am I doing it? Why am I spending this valuable time in Saturday morning where you should be playing golf or do whatever and listening to this guy from Korea? Why are you doing it? Okay. Number 2, when you figure that out, you have to start writing the list. It doesn't take any techniques. I start with 20 lists and 20 lists every day, every week. And then what do? You call him, you text him, find out he's interested in business or looking for business, looking for opportunity, guy who wants to make money, extra income, whatever. Okay. And then when they're interested, bring them to Zoom, Monday Zoom, Wednesday Zoom, Saturday Zoom, or bring them to the live meeting in your area. Have them on 3-way call with Chuck or me or Farmer John, whoever is your sponsors, uplines. Luckily, we have a really great uplines, including Herb and Patty Cepeda, who is number 1 owner in our company. If guys really interested and want to talk to somebody making a lot of money, get on the 3-way call with Herb. I mean, he's there. I mean, just because he makes a lot of money, it doesn't mean he's like some guys who's not unapproachable. Okay, use him. Use Michael Weeder. He's really well versed in this industry. Chuck's there. Hamby's here. So that's what you do. You just don't. You got to have a system that you just follow without emotion attached. That's how you do it. Bam, 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 bam. Okay? There's no secret. I mean, get your why, situated. Okay, I write down my why. Do the list. And then people that don't want to do it, took X out. And then go back in 6 months. Okay? Then X out, go back to 6 months. And just keep calling. That's all you do. I mean, I have my list. I mean, I can't read my own handwriting, so I do my list on my cell phone, and I keep lists down every week. Let's see. See if I can show you a list. Where did it go? Here we go. So I don't know if you can see this. Probably can. Let's see. You can't see it. But this is why. So I start my list with why. To provide for my 3 children and to have a financial stress-free life for me and my wife. That's my why. And then I got, you know what? Kevin Toey is my number one. Wow. And I started this list, what, 1.5 years ago? And I didn't realize he was my number one. He joined about 3 months ago. So about a year and a half later, he joined. Okay. So I got all these people, and then I got X, and it's down to like 500 some people. Okay. That's what you do. And then when you have a list, you call. Hey, this is Kwang Soo. How you doing? I'm in this business. You know, whatever the story, you can rack up. I mean, Chuck gave us a real good training on your story, and that's it. And let them, you respond to people who respond back to you. The last thing you want to do is try to convince people. This is like fishing. You cast a rod and wait. And last thing you want to do is if the fish doesn't catch the bait, you don't want to go swim and catch the fish. You don't do that, right? You'd be crazy. You just wait and cast another rod. You don't go out and swim for the fish. So don't do that. So that's what we do. And that's what I do. And, it's no magic. Anybody can learn this and teach. So it's now, superstars don't make it in this business. Superstars don't. The guy who said, I recruited 1,000 people. They don't succeed in this business. Okay. It's not the greatest things you do. It's you do something that's duplicable. That's what makes the business go. So you do a little bit, and they do a little bit, and they do a little bit, and that's what it takes. So I'm going to stop recording here because I'm feeling like a broken record again. If I can find my, here we go.